I'm going to do a review of this game, Deduction, the game that makes thinking fun. It is by Ideal. I have a complete version of it, and it doesn't seem like too many people know about this game, and it's actually a really fun game that deserves a little bit more attention. So let me show you how it's played. So this is a two-player game. You'd have one person sitting here, one person sitting here. I'm showing you it from the side so that you can have a better understanding how it's played. This would be your view if you're actually playing the game. You can see your own design, but you can't see the other players. So I've switched back to the side view so you can get a better sense of what's going on. And this is going to be player A. This is going to be player B. It'll make more sense as we go. Basically, player A has created a design here. And what they're trying to do is figure out what player B's pattern is. And if they can figure out what pattern player B's pattern is before B can figure out what player A's pattern is, they win. So figure out the pattern first and you win. So there's some rules for when you make your design. Basically what they are is you have to place pegs so that there's another peg of the same color to the left or right or up or down. So you can see these are basically all kind of in a straight line is a different way to think about it. Here's all the blues. So connected vertically horizontal. All the yellows are connected vertically or horizontally. All the reds are connected horizontally. Switching it around, you can see that this is different. You can see all the reds, yellows, greens, and blues have that basically connected with a peg vertically or left or right. So I modified this board just to show you some things that you can't do. This one is diagonal. That is not allowed. Okay? And actually the yellow is also diagonal. That's not allowed. This one is all by itself. That's not allowed. So again, I'd have to switch it. This green one's all by itself. It's not connected to a green. So those things are not allowed. You cannot do that. So you can see I still have a problem because the yellows are not connected. So I got to take this one out, put one here. So now this board is good to go. The fact that you know that pegs are always either up or down, left or right, is going to be essential for when you try to figure out the other person's pegboards. So when it's your turn, you have two choices. One is to just simply ask for a peg. So you can say, give me A1, and the other player has to give you A1. Of course, that's going to be of limited use. Since you have to figure out a design with 36 pegs, it would take you 36 turns to win that way. And you'd have to be kind of a dope to play that way. But there's times when that will help, because otherwise you could take a guess and say A1 and guess a color, deduct a color. But at least initially, when you first ask for that first peg, it is a total random guess, right? So you're going to say A1 green, A1 red, A1 blue. If you're right, the other person gives you that peg. If you're wrong, you lose your turn and you don't get the peg. So potentially it could take you 4 turns to guess A1. So you could say, so we happen to know, because we're cheating, that A1 is red. So if this is the first play and they say A1 green, B says nope, and A loses their turn. B would go, of course. Then A, if they say A1 yellow, B's going to say nope, they lose their turn. And again, so it could take 4 turns potentially to get that first color. So there are times when it makes sense just to ask for a peg. When you're asking for a peg or being asked for a peg, you use the simple grid pattern, and it's really self-explanatory. So if I'm going to ask for a peg, this one right here, and I want to take a guess at what the other player has, it's obviously A1. This peg here is 4C. This one here is 6D. Similarly, if the other player says, I think B2 is blue, I look 2, and I look B, and it is blue. So I would have to give them that peg. So it's the start of the game. A's going to go first. And they're going to ask for a peg, so they're going to say, you know what, give me A1. So they want A1. Player B has to give them A1, which happens to be red. A puts it there, because this is where they're going to kind of figure out the other pattern, and then their turn is over. B is going to say, they decide to ask a question, so they say, I want to guess 6A is red. So they were saying 6A red. They look over here and it's not, right? 6A is not red, so they say nope, and so B loses their turn. So now here comes some deduction. If we look at this pattern for player A, they know, because there's only one, that either this has to be red or this has to be red. They could both be red, but at least one of them has to be red. So they can build from there. They can, of course, just ask for a peg now, but they might say, you know what? I'm going to take a guess. B1 red. B1 is not red, so they lose their turn. So they could potentially put their peg like this so that they kind of remember, oh, go that way now, because it wasn't B1. All right, so over here, and I don't even remember exactly what my guess was, but they're smartened up and they're going to say, you know what? I'm going to try, give me 4C. 4C, okay, 4C. So here's 4, here's C. They give them a green for 4C. Their turn is over. So now this guy remembers, oh yeah, for sure I know 2A has to be red. So they say 2A red. And of course 2A is red, so they give it to him. Okay, so there's got, again, since there's 9 reds, and we know this isn't red, there has to be a red here or here at least. So 3A red. 3A is red. Gonna keep guessing, red's working. 4A red. Okay. 5A red. And you can see, and again, obviously this, I'm putting it so we can see it better. 6A red. So they figured out that line, but there's 3 more. And you know, where is it going to be? They don't know. They know it's not here, but it could be any of these spots. It could even be these 3. So that's a tough one. So they may decide to take a guess, or they may say, you know what, give me 6B. So they're going to give them 6B, but their turn is over now. Okay, but now they have a sense. So there's still a lot of possibilities for that, but their turn is over. So now we got to figure out what's going on here. They're going to actually try to figure out, and they're going to actually ask for F1. F1. Okay? Again, there's different strategies for this. There's not just one way to play. And what we're going to do at this point is skip player B. Okay? In reality, they'd be going back and forth. But just to try to show the strategy, we're just going to play player A. All right. So, got to be a green here or here. E1 is green. And in fact, E1 is green. So they get another guess. They're going to say D1 is green. D1 is not green, so they lose their turn. So B would obviously go. But A, got my label here, is ready. So they know this is not green. So this could be, you know, this could be green. This could be, one of these has got to be green. They're going to go with F2. And F2 is indeed green. So they notice that pattern. They're wondering if they'll do something silly like that. So they're going to say F3. Yep, F3. F4. Green. And again, they have to be saying the color, F4 green. F5 green. F6 green. So again, now they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the greens. They got 2 more. They could be anywhere. I mean, they noticed that one's red. All right, so E6 green. And sure enough, E6 is green. So now they're wondering if they did some kind of crazy pattern. So they're going to say B1 red. B1 is not red. So they lose their turn. B would go, of course. So they're not sure exactly what's going to happen now. So they know this has got to be one of 2 colors. Okay, so they said B1 red. It's not red. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it cannot be green because it could not stretch over there. So it's not red, it's not green. It's either yellow or blue. So they could ask for it. They could take a guess. And they're going to take a wild guess. And they're going to say B1 yellow. B1 is yellow. Okay. So now they're going to say B2 yellow. B2 is yellow. And they see the straight lines. At some point, it's not going to be completely straight, but they're going to say B3B yellow. 3B is yellow. They're going to say 4B yellow. 4B is not yellow, so A loses their turn. So if it's not yellow, green can't get over there. It's very possibly red. Okay, it could very possibly be red, or it could, of course, be blue. Because, again, we know there's a couple more reds. There's 6, there's 7, so there's 2 more reds. So next turn, they ask 4B red. And, yep, 4B is red. So this could be red, or this could be red. And they're really not sure. So they're going to go back up, and they're going to take a guess at yellow. Okay? And they're going to take a guess that this is very likely yellow, because it probably can't. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It can't be red. It can't be green. It could be yellow. And you can start to figure out that it's probably yellow. So they're going to say 3C yellow. And 3C is yellow. Okay? So they're going to say, you know what, 2C yellow. 2C is yellow. They're wondering if they put it there, so 1C yellow. 1C is not yellow. So at this point, they know it has to be blue. Okay, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can't obviously get the green in there. Red can't fit up there. So B would go. Now it's yellow's turn. They're going to say 1C blue. And it is blue. Okay. So again, they can try to make a deduction here and hazard a guess whether that's blue or green. And if you think about it, it can't be green, because if it was green, it would cut off blue. So this can't be green, so they're going to say with confidence 1D is blue. And indeed, 1D is blue. And they're going to say with confidence that this has to be blue, because if it's not, it would be diagonal. So they're going to say 2D blue. Or, yeah, 2D blue. Okay, so they're good with that one. A likelihood. So this is most likely yellow or blue. They're going to guess. They know they have to fill in some yellows over here. Like that's, one of these is red, but blue. So they're going to say 3D blue. 3D is blue. Okay, so that helps. So they know this has to be yellow, because they can't skip that. So they're going to say 4C yellow. 4C is yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 2 choices now for red. So they're going to just say 6C red. They're wrong. So they lose their turn. So they know that's not red. It's got to be yellow. So B has their turn, and they're going to say 6C yellow. Yep. So at this point, they know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This has to be red. So 5B is red. They say 5B, and that is. They know that this has to be yellow, because there has to be a connection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can't get around that. So 5C has to be yellow. And so one of these is yellow. And they think if this is yellow, then that would have to be green. It would kind of cut it off. This could be, so they still are not 100% sure. But they can hazard a guess, right? So they're going to say 6D yellow. And they got relatively lucky. Okay. So they're going to know these two have to be blue. Greens cannot get that far over. So they're going to say 4D blue, 5D blue. And now there's going to have to be a guess. 3 of these are blue. 1 of them is green. And it could be any. Any one of them could be green. So they're just going to have to take a guess. So the chances are 3 out of 4 that any one of them is blue. So they're going to just say 5E blue. Okay. 4E blue. And now they got down to a 50-50 chance, 3E blue. And they're right. And then obviously that last one, 2E, is green. If they had done that quicker than the other team, they would have won. So it's an interesting enough, challenging enough game. You have to use some brain power. You do have to use deduction. You got to remember the number of pegs. You got to remember how the patterns work. And it's, like I said, it's fun. It's definitely worth the time to play the game. It doesn't take a long time. It does say that it is for ages 8 and up. This version, by the way, is from 1976. So you can pick this up pretty cheap on eBay. And it's definitely worth it. It's a fun game, easy to play, doesn't take a long time, doesn't take a long time to learn. So hope this helped, and thanks for watching.